back on another episode of Revonomics. You know, the dumbest probably name we could have come up with. The more I listen to it, the less I like it.
Yeah, it doesn't get better.
That's fucked. I have receipts of you saying that it was an excellent
Really?
name.
Okay, well, maybe it was excellent when we started. Similar to our logo, and today's logo creation with 20 years of media experience on the table is this. Now, why have I seen this logo somewhere? You guys just straight up ripped off a logo.
Did you watch NASCAR in the 1990s?
Yes, I'm saying this is either... Is that where you fucking stole it from?
That's not the Pennzoil logo.
I know you
all.
fuckers stole it from somewhere. Yes, exactly. That's the Pennzoil thing. Yes, that's exactly where I saw it. And when I used to buy oil at Advanced Auto Parts.
It's not the Pennzoil logo
because we
at
used to
all.
be poor and had to put oil in our own cars. You know.
Don't go look up the Pennzoil logo.
You know how retarded I feel now. You ever seen that video of that girl that puts oil in her car? You know, like, yeah, she doesn't know what she's doing and she's pouring it all over. Yeah, that's like me in Advanced Auto Part now. I like open, I'm like, oh, the colonnade needs oil. I'm like, oh, there's 4 reservoirs and I don't know which one it goes into. So welcome to Revonomics, Mr. Andrew.
Thanks.
So for everybody that doesn't know, Andrew is a legend.
A legend.
Yeah, billionaire that in the tech space. He actually came up with
the internet.
Well, no, he's actually me behind the scenes. So he manages all of our social
engagements,
all of our social media director for
Verticals.
Everything we've done.
All the verticals.
We worked together for how long?
20 years, 15 years, a long time.
Such a long time. You know, to survive me 20 years by itself is a gift. Like
he gave me a book when I started. He's like, "This is how you survive, PJ."
Oh, this is like the survival guide. It's like
guide.
Navy SEALs Team Zero. You know, like how they like survive.
This is what you do.
Listen, he's gonna say some things.
That's the first thing.
Do you remember that? There's one thing that Andrew once told me. He's like, he would go to new people and he would tell them, you know, whatever crazy shit PJ told you, it's all fucking true and it's worse than it is. It's way worse.
Yeah.
Now he pulled me aside the first time. He's like, "You good?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." He's like, "He's gonna say things." I was like, "Yeah, I know."
So how do you feel about our 20 years of media experience coming up with this?
I don't like it.
You don't like? Oh wow!
You had to do. Wait, hold on. He had to do with it.
What do you mean he had to do with it?
I made the first one. The
Revy one.
Yeah.
I think this is terrible.
Yeah, but I know that's what we're aiming for.
Oh, okay. You're aiming to piss me off every week.
They're gonna get so much worse.
All right.
They're gonna get so much worse.
This is just not okay.
Speaking of terrible.
Well, we were talking before this about the what do they call him? They call him the giraffe with pubic hair on his face.
Yeah, that guy.
Yes, that's the guy.
Vincent Fisher.
So there's two. Just to be clear, there are 2 ways we just know who the next clowns are in Miami. Can you guess what they are?
No.
Broccoli hair.
Broccoli hair?
No, that's pubic hair on his face. There's a giraffe with pubic hair.
2 ways to know who the next clown show is. Well, they all get together.
No, so it's the next guy to buy a car that clearly he can afford.
Ooh.
So like the first guy that you see pop up on your feed with a car that just doesn't look at the airport with 3 cars that you've seen somewhere else, that just that shit's coming. It's down the street. And the second one, I hate to say it because I love Walter. I think he's a really sweet guy. And I wish him nothing but the best at Fresh and Fit. But I swear, it's like every other fucking guy that appears on Fresh and Fit somehow the week after comes out on Baller Buster or on Johnny Bravo TV. Like, what the fuck? And I have text messages going to Walter being like, yo, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, the latest one is that guy with that thinks he's good looking or something, puts makeup in his eyes and shit.
Oh yeah, the Looks Maxer.
Yeah,
vlog.
it looks. Yeah. Like the fuck, and it's now going all over viral everywhere. But he had a really funny Fresh and Fit thing because all these girls thought they were hot, and he was like, "Yeah, give her a 1."
Clev, your turn.
Oh, okay. 3.5 out of 10. A 4 out of 10. Not a single good thing about her face.
Like tearing the whores apart, which is great. That part was fantastically
Tearing
entertaining.
the whores apart.
Yeah, not anally, but literally through their
Monday.
Yes. For their psychology or their mental state.
I saw on Twitter he said I don't care about like dating or women or anything. I just want to look better than every dude.
Yeah, well, this is the other thing. There's a video that went that John Bravo posted with this other guy breaking his thing down. He goes,
like the whole video, there are no chicks anywhere to be seen. And again, I think it just comes down to confidence. I don't think that these dudes are getting girls the way they try to make you think that they are.
if you look at his whole house, it's a whole bunch of dudes living together. So it's like a bunch of gay guys, like pretending they want to go get pussy, but they're not getting any pussy. So it's not anywhere in their videos. At least Andrew Tate has a bunch of chicks with him, like all the time. Like,
Do you think so? Let's go back a couple episodes ago. You were talking about like manliness with Rafa.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this is systemic in like the American food supply, and all these fucking dudes are just like low T and they don't want to fuck because like they're literally biologically not?
no, I think it's the rise of how. So I was actually having this conversation with someone else on an intelligent basis, not as a joke. It's the rise of feminism in culture. Like when feminism rises, what that means is feminine women, right, or girls, turn to masculine energy for independence. It then forces the masculine energy to either rise above that and be extraordinary so they can control that, because the masculine controls the feminine. Like that's the authority like type of direction. So authority and strength comes from the masculine energy. Self-preservation, providing comes from the masculine energy. The feminine support role then turns masculine. So it forces men to be more masculine. When men cannot rise, they do the opposite. They turn feminine, which means that they become more of the 50-50 party. They become more of the
Sassy.
escapism, passport bros. They become more of the I need to get the fuck. And I know it's not popular to say, because there's people who are going to watch this. They're going to be like, well, I'm escaping because there's no quality woman here. So it's not that there's no quality woman. It's that women over the last 20 years have risen to become incredibly masculine in nature, because a lot of aspects of society has abandoned them. Now, it's a good thing for women to rise, but it's a good thing if they rise in proportion to men. So that's where you get the delusion when you have women that are like, I'm a 9 or I'm a 10, and you fucking look at her and you're like, you're a 2, bitch. You're not even going to be like you're a fucking 1 if you're lucky without makeup, and you're a fucking 2.5.
Yeah.
But in their head, they think like no woman thinks she's below a 5 at any given point, like ever. There's plenty of women that are 1s. And when their expectations are, well, I'm a 7 or 8, I'm not going to date a 5 guy. Well, bitch, you're 1. So if you're 1 and you're dating a 5, it's a huge fucking win. But in your eyes, if you're a 7, you think like all these guys that are 10s. And then the other part is they don't recognize what a 10 is, because they're delusional about their own 7. So they don't rank guys properly. They think like Lamborghini means money. This means that, so they can't even read symbols correctly. So they're not only confused in their own energy, but then they're confused in their own evaluation, and they can't value the other side. So it's like they always say a scammer finds a scammer. So it's like a fake chick will find the fake dude, they'll play them, and then they'll be like, I don't understand. Like, why? And it's like, well, because you were going to play the guy and you got played. It's like when you think you're fucking them, they're the ones fucking you. So that's the problem in this cultural thing. And what I was having this conversation with somebody. We were talking about this, like, why are these shows like Fresh and Fit, whatever, etc., so popular with men that are like kind of lost? Like they're not like super other wealthy men that are like watching these, like, because they're justifying why men don't have access to women, basically, and they're painting the answer on the delusion of women. So they're saying like the reason you're not getting laid is because women are delusional and they're crazy and they're retarded and they're this. And so you're justifying the men's position instead of rising the men. You're saying you're good as you are. These women are crazy. You don't have to rise above anything. You don't have to take accountability for who you are. They're just mental cases. And so if you do that, if you look at it that way, then there's a lot of men that are going to be like, yeah, I don't have to take accountability. It's the same thing as blaming the rich for why you're poor. It's like, well, that guy's taking all the resources. He's rich. He has 14 cars. He has this. He has that. You see, that's why you don't have anything, because that guy's hogging everything and you can't compete and you can't do anything. Yeah. That's what they focus on. So the poor guy goes, yeah, I'm going to vote for someone that's going to block that guy from being here, or he's going to have to pay more taxes so he can come down to my level. Not I'm going to rise, but fuck that guy. He's got to come down to my level, because so I got to take my mediocre ass and get him to come down to becoming more mediocre instead of me rising to become greater. So this ideology, that's a capitalist ideology in America. That's how socialism fights capitalism. Basically, it's like this idea that we're all born equal and we're all children of God bullshit, and it's like we should all have equal opportunities, which we do. We just don't have equal outcomes. Yeah. And it's the same thing with everything else. Like if men didn't figure out 10 years ago that strength doesn't come from, like, masculinity and strength no longer comes from your physical physique or ability to fight people, but it comes from your ability to financially protect people. Well, they didn't understand how America worked. So that's why the rich guys have like 15 girlfriends and the poor guys are like fucking either incredibly good looking, tall and everything, and they're getting some pussy and they're getting laid, but they're still not setting foundation either. Like the poor guys, they're still not getting like, you know, super married and stuff like that. So like there's this huge like disconnect that way. And also remember, these shows exist because they are built to fight the rise of feminism to the extreme of masculinity. So they're basically like, hey, feminism has gone so far up, we have to shoot these women back down so we have time to catch up. So it is a negative in a way, but it's also a necessary evil. And I tell you why. Because if you don't have these, you turn into a society similar to what happened in Afghanistan very early pre-1980s. People don't realize this, but right now in Afghanistan, girls can't go to school. Yeah. Like they can't do anything. Like they're not allowed to have any rights, whatever. But like 1980s, like it was thriving with women in miniskirts, like walking around. And so like you go, how do we go from that? So you're not even allowed to go to school. And that's the extreme answer to that gap getting so big that the authority forces its authority back and crushes the feminist nature. So if you want to keep an equal playing field, you need these crazy full, right kind of like models to start dampening and softening. But you also need other models to keep rising men forward. And we have a failed school system. We have a failed business model. We're killing the middle class. So like capitalism is not favoring weak people. And the problem is men have a gene to make them basically competitive and strong. So when men give up competition, they're lost, basically. They're done. Like they're going to lose. Like they because they're not competing in a world that requires them to compete. It's like, hey, you're supposed to go out there and become the best runner. It's like, I don't even want to run. I want to play piano. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, go run. And it's like, no, I want to play piano. I'm entitled to playing piano. Well, okay, well, if you have a lot of fucking people playing piano, who's going to go run? So some woman will be like, opportunity, I'm going to go run. And eventually that feminine masculine energy balance just
you have a
falls
bunch
up.
of running ass women.
Yeah, I mean, you have a bunch of leading women, and you have a bunch of sitting at home men. So that's what happens.
The positions flip flop.
Yeah, so it is how it works.
That is.
But we were talking about the giraffe for a second before we got confused. So apparently he took off his AI bot.
Yeah, so he was getting. There was a rally with a friend of ours.
Yes,
a couple weeks ago.
We had Leon.
We had Leon. They had an awesome rally. I saw videos. Everyone looked like they had a ton of fun.
And I told them I couldn't participate because of the clowns. Yeah.
So Lee was doing. They would announce who the drivers are, and they would get a nice little picture online. Woo, hey, you're going on the rally. And they started looking at the comments.
These Miami core sellers will do anything for attention. We've probably all seen this pube head by his Sion Adecario. This Instagram post was some sort of announcement of a rally he's supposed to be going on, and the comments are flooded with bots. They may seem real at first, but after you read a couple of them, they all sort of have the same sort of like ChatGPT AI vibe. Like this one says, that's a serious face. Man came to race, not to play. AI bots are working overtime. This announcement just made the lineup feel even more elite. Miami roads are not ready for this combo. Wonder if he's running solo or with a co-driver this year.
Why do people do that on social media?
It was just on Vincent's post.
Only
None
on
of the
Vincent's
other
post.
ones.
But
None of the other
why
ones.
do people do that? Like, why is this like
So,
like I don't know social media because I'm not like
I will tell you
connected
why.
to young people.
Because they need to give up the appearance that they are popular no matter what they do. So if I look at feedback like on our pages, when I post an ad, it's a fucking ad. It gets 2 likes.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't
Because I
get,
don't
like-
want
yeah,
someone
yeah,
to
no,
engage
yeah.
with the ad. I want them to go to the link.
Yeah.
So the stats are going to be bad. Those guys, because their entire persona is about how followed they are, they need to constantly pump that out. And what happens is there's 2 ways to do it. One, you can have bots. I don't know which one happened here, but you can literally have bots. There's farms in China with walls full of phones that are pre-programmed with 6 different responses. And every time this guy posts, they come in and they drip over a 12-hour period. Or there's engagement groups that you can pay to be in with real people, and they have people that manage the pages, and there's a list of
They cross
people that
promote
they
each
comment
other.
on.
Like that's why a scammer
Yeah,
finds
yeah.
a scammer and likes a scammer because they're all
So-
part of the same monkey.
Yeah, they're all. That's why
It's the same circus. That's
well,
why I call
that's
it
why
the
like when
clown
those
show.
group chats leak. What do you think those group chats are? It's just, hey, I posted. Like, come show some love.
Yeah.
So the numbers look great, but then when you have situations like this where there's other context, and you're like, well, all these other ones got nothing, but this guy's blew up, and then you read the comments and it's all nonsense. Like that's how you know it's fake.
Yeah.
So there's like people come out of nowhere with millions and millions of followers. Well, they buy the followers, and then they buy the engagement, and none of it's legit.
Yeah, so it's like a whore basically on Instagram posting a picture of herself and all the guys being like, "Will you marry me?" And half
Well,
those,
or even like-
or are those real? Like, are they real people from India that want to marry those girls?
Sometimes, or they'll post and they'll try to get brand deals, you know, when they try to get free makeup or they get paid to do a post for whatever bags, and like it's all fake.
So, but are they Indian? I'm just curious. Are the Indian guys with the roses and the?
Oh, show Bob's and Vagine.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
they're real.
there's actually a dude jerking off to his.
Those are the real ones.
100%.
To his like little clay house in the middle of fucking Mumbai, India, or something. Like, just okay, cool. That's fucked up.
But
Okay.
then it turns into nothing. Like you get all this engagement for what? Like this is not something that.
But does
They're
the
not- Well, it
algorithm actually
propels-
favor you if the
Yeah, 'cause they're
Indians
not
like your
selling
shit? Because
anything.
it's not.
The algorithm doesn't favor you, but when someone then investigates and they can see, like, oh, this person's constantly getting, you know, a bunch of comments, but they don't really read, then they use it as legitimacy of like, oh, I'm big, like all these people.
Oh, I
follow
understand.
me.
So they're trying to. Okay, so it's like buying 10 million views on a YouTube video and then basically being like, oh, but yet I only have 10,000 subscribers and nothing ever went up.
Right.
I mean, it's a way to go about it, but then do they not ever consider that it takes 5 minutes for it to be on here?
I just don't understand this
Well,
instant gratification bullshit. You know, like this constant need.
It is a thing.
Because they know that their business isn't legit, and so they need to get that cash grab, and they're just pumping and pumping and pumping, get as much money as they can out, and then they fuck off and go to Costa Rica.
So
or-
Ponzi.
It's not really a
Ponzi,
Ponzi
but-
because they're not really stealing. Like, what are they stealing? I mean, they might be stealing.
But
I
isn't
don't
that
fucking
their
know.
whole gimmick? Isn't that they just take money, use it for something else, and then pay people
Well,
back? When
yeah,
they
we were
can?
talking about this the other day. Someone said, why don't we just run a huge campaign and be so popular that I get 30,000 coaching, you know, like contracts for students? And I go, I couldn't even actually do 30,000. I couldn't deliver on that. So why would I want to get 10,000 pieces? You know, and I'm not interested in being a private coach all day. So like, why would I take 10, 15 grand from someone, right, and not deliver what I'm supposed to? And fine, even if it was like $20 million at once, like,
Well,
I
that's how
can't
you
do
know-
it though.
That's how you know the cash grab. If someone's trying to get 10, 20, 50K out of a client at first, their business is not built to last.
Yeah, I understand. I just don't understand I just don't. I don't understand why other people can't see that and start spending that money. Like I just don't understand why someone would give any of these idiots some type of money without even doing one Google search. Because one Google search would show you 50 fucking videos on YouTube against all this shit.
Their mugshots come up.
Yeah, like
instantly.
instantly. So like, why don't fucking people do that?
I think
Like,
in their sales process, those guys are like, oh, those people are just hating because they can't do what we do. Here's screenshots of like all our rental income.
yeah,
and
like the
here's
other
this
idiot
and
the other
that."
day with a
$8 million?
screenshot, like I got 9 million profit. Yeah, fucking would I had 50 judgments against him and like not even $10 to his name. Can't
You know
even
what
pay
that?
rent.
You know what that Photoshop was? The sum of all the judgments against them. He showed
I
us
swear
how
to
much.
God, the
This
level
is
of
my
stupid,
scam right
the
here.
level of stupid in this world is.
Damn, I didn't think of that. That's his level of scam. $8 million right above his
Yeah,
head.
it's terrible.
So a couple people have been asking. They wanted to know a couple things about PJ because everyone's real interested about PJ.
Why?
And your story. You have a very interesting story. It starts in.
Came up with porn at the age of 5.
Do we always have to go
Okay,
right
all
there?
right, fine,
At 5.
fine.
Hold on, wait. Stop. At 5?
Yeah, at 5, I was exposed to a house.
Was it
full
the
of,
illegal cable
black
box?
dudes, gangbanging chicks, and then from there it was game over. Is that what happened? No. Okay. Mark seems to know that story. He seems to agree with it. He's like
Every
he's
episode-
like, I can see now. Everything makes sense.
Ready? We break Mark every episode. We break him at least once. But yeah, so people have been wanting to hear a bit about your story. And Andrew, if anyone here knows the story best, so I think the conversation between you two would be real insightful for the viewers.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Tell us a bit about where it started. Where does this start?
Starts in Iran,
Okay.
very young, and then leave because of a war. Like literally, like I have 3 memories from Iran. The first one being we're actually rich in Iran. We weren't poor, like compared to Iran back in the fucking days. But I remember my dad had this apartment complex, but we owned the whole apartment complex. Like there was like 5 levels, and all 5 was like one place was rented, the rest were all like our place. Yeah. And we had this pool that was really fucking nasty. I mean, like, it is a pond pool, but somehow my grandma on his side, which was retarded, like, just kept taking me to that pool. I have fucking disgusting. So, like, that I remember from Iran. And then I remember having a really bad time because we had the war sirens go off, and then we would go hide in the basement. And when we'd hide in the basement, that I remembered because I would I don't know why I remember this because I was 3 years old. Even my mom's like, "You actually remember that?" I was like, "Yeah." I would go in the basement, then I'd be on my dad's shoulders, and which he was tall actually, which is unique. Why I'm so short, I don't understand where that happened. I don't get how this happened. But anyways, so I would be on his shoulders, and then we'd literally see like a F-18 or whatever the fuck kind of airplane was on top, and they would shoot some missile, and then it would go. You would be blank, like you wouldn't see anything and you wouldn't hear anything. And we used to think, like I used to think, I was like, oh, well, it ended, But what it really was is that you were deaf and you couldn't see from the blast, like from the But really, like people were screaming because people were screaming before, and then the missile hit, and then people were still screaming. But you couldn't hear to see it, so you thought it was like, oh, something's over or whatever. But it really wasn't. So I remember that. And then I remember fleeing Iran because my mom was going to get like tried or something for some bullshit because she worked for the government or something. And when they were changing regimes or whatever, shit was going down. But this is how the world works, So it wasn't bad. Then we went over to France. And then in France, we lived poor because my dad fucked us, never sent us any money. And then came 2 years later, divorced my mom. And then left us in France. Again, never gave her money, so she spent 10 years building her business, and then we in France? In France, and then we got just enough money to finally keep. She applied for a visa to come to the U.S. for 10 years. We finally got one.
Her brother was here already.
Yeah, my uncle was here, who's now passed away, but he took care of us when we first came here.
Did he leave Iran at the same time as your mom?
No, he left before. She helped him get out before the revolution. And he was one of the last planes out. Wow. He came on a student visa somewhere. I think it was in Boston or something. And then he went from being a busboy to being a general manager of a hotel. So he worked his way up from zero. And he had enough money. Like he was making $200K a year or something. And so when we came here in like the late 90s, he had an apartment, like next to his hotel, whatever. He took care of us. Like he became like my dad for about like maybe 5-7 years, where he just took that role and did everything possible to give me a normal childhood. But I just had to watch my mom get defeated over and over and over, like going from country to country to country, starting, building, losing, starting, building, losing. And then I just decided at 14 that I was enough with this shit. I was like, I realized one day no one was coming to save my ass. I think that was my biggest learning as a child. Like I looked outside and all the other kids. We lived in the basement of my other uncle's place, and he lived in a good neighborhood, so I used to see the other kids in Virginia drive like really nice cars, like Camaros and stuff at 16, 15, like doing stuff. And I looked at that, and I looked at my mom's 300,000-mile Ford Probe that I was going to get when I got my license, and I was like, yeah, I don't see the connection from that to this. Like, I don't see the path. I'm like, this ain't coming.
This shit don't make no sense.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have any luck getting any pussy because like I'm in Ford Probe.
And it wasn't a cool car, new.
The new Ford Probe GT.
Have you driven a Ford?
No, I mean 280,000 miles. They were fucking blowing black smoke every time I went on a road trip. So I just looked at that car. I looked at this kid's getting picked up, and I looked at the basement. And we had a mattress on the TV, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, listen, we had shelter, we had food, we didn't have that problem. But I looked at all that, and I said, yeah, no one's fucking coming to do anything for me. So I started thinking, like, I gotta fucking figure out how to make money. And at 14, I started working, and it took till I was like 17. So I went from a kid that barely knew what to do to a middle class working citizen by 17, and then by 18 I was making like 65, 80K a year,
So this company was
the remodeling place that I was working at.
and you were in cold calling.
At the beginning, I was in telemarketing.
You were in
cold calling.
telemarketing?
Yeah, I know. When I was 14.
Dude, give us the
Dude,
pitch.
no, this is not a joke. He's laughing because he knows what's coming.
Give us the pitch.
Yeah, the first customer I ever called, his name was Dick Black. No joke. I'm dead serious. This isn't a joke. I'm serious. They had fucked with me because they knew I was a foreigner, so they gave me these leads, and one of them was like Dick Black. So I called this dude, and I'm like, Then I realized what the name was. I was like, it's Dick Black. I was like, is there a black dick home?
And the wife was like, no, he
and I
just
got
left.
cursed out.
That's terrible.
I then learned never to trust white people again.
Careful, Andrew.
So anyways, yeah, so I did telemarketing, and then I kind of hit a ceiling by 18. I didn't want to be in the remodeling business. But I was doing so much money for a kid. Like back then, it was so much money for me that I'd never seen that much money. So I started thinking about like what I wanted to do. And my dad was a banker. So I was like, hey, maybe I should go learn banking because somehow he's really talented. He was CEO of a bank in Iran. So I was like, maybe I have it in me to be a banker. And I didn't know much about money. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do that. And I went to do that. And I did really, really well in banking.
So tell me how you got to tell the story. I already know how you got the job. It was a grocery store.
Yeah.
And
So I spent like probably my mom had a friend that was a manager at a bank. So she was like, hey, you should kind of like introduce, et cetera. But I wanted to, my pay was manager pay for banking, like where I was in my previous job. So I couldn't go into sales or anything because it was such a low emotion, like monetarily demoted, like 50% off my money. So I didn't want to do that. But I had to basically prove that I was qualified to be a manager. And so I spent probably about like 3 months scouting like one of the banks, like how they worked, what would happen. I would just go there and just spend all my off time after work, like just watching how they behave, what they did, etc. And then that way, when I went to the interview, I was really prepared and understood what their gaps were. And I used my sales background to get mainly a job in a supermarket bank because supermarket banks were more sales focused and not so much like big bank, like fancy managers and stuff. And I knew they paid more for people who had backgrounds in sales. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go work there. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't prestigious. It was in a supermarket. So I didn't have that like, oh, I still wore a suit, but it wasn't like, holy shit, dude, you're running this big ass bank, But I was like, it's a foot in the door. And I always believe title first, money later. So I got in the manager training program. I got out in 6 months instead of 9 months. And then I got promoted every 6 months to a year, like 6 years in a row from the management training program all the way to executive VP for the bank. And then headed even an airport banking project for them for about 2 years where it became the most profitable bank in the company.
So then that bank got bought out by, was it BOA?
Capital One bought the majority of them, then PNC bought the majority of the in the supermarkets and airport banks.
So you were there for the transition, but then they didn't really like you once kind of the bigger.
So I was an obnoxious asshole. Really? Believe it or not, I had a Lamborghini at a young age.
Never would have thought that ever in my
I was
life.
pounding out tellers, I was pounding them out.
Banging them out.
I had a good time, man. This was a very, very good time in that world. But yeah, so I had HR violations like every fucking other weekend. Like because I was young, I was driving a Lamborghini. I was pissing off everybody. And everybody thought I was doing something illegal. Because I had figured out this car hacking shit very early. Like, I didn't know it was car hacking then. I was just like, oh, I can buy a Lamborghini and I'll lose money. Why would I not do that? I'm a kid. I want a Lamborghini like everybody else. But I did it right. I waited till I could buy the right one, whatever. And I put a lot of my money, like $3,000 a month to pay, the note at the time because I didn't have like $200K cash. So I would pay. Actually, my first Lamborghini only cost like 80 grand. So it wasn't like 85 grand. Believe it or not, that's what Gallardos cost back then. But 85 grand, gated Gallardo, today's like 200 grand. But I was driving that shit and then I made money. But people didn't realize that. So they were like, he's got a Lamborghini. It's $200,000 Lamborghini. How does he do that working at a bank? So it would create all kinds of shit. They had all kinds of stories that I was like some sheikh from Dubai that had parents that had all the money. There were things like I was smuggling money from the bank. That's how I was getting paid. So every other week I had some kind of investigation.
Did you get in trouble
and it
at
didn't help
work?
that I was banging out old tellers.
Did you get in trouble at work because of the
No,
sayings?
it was just dealing with all that shit until I made friends with the HR lady that she like kind of got me. And
Were you
she
banging
was
the
like,
HR lady?
well, let's just leave that off the table. But yeah, she was older, so it wasn't quite
Doesn't make it any better.
It wasn't quite the direction we're going. We're going for the young ones. And teller line was like 18 to 20. It was a good
Sometimes
time.
you got to do stuff for the bigger purpose.
Yeah, so that played out. I got fired.
So this is, hold on, because I want to be clear on timeline. So this is like 05, 06, 07 when this is kind of happening.
Like I got fired. I think it was in 05. Like yeah.
Okay.
I think it was it? No, it was
No, you
06.
fired
It was 06. Yeah, it was 06.
So at the same time, you are making enough money that you have some savings, something. And you're,
Well, yeah, I've saved a lot, and I figured out this really good scheme to get into like real estate lots, and I was just buying lots at the time because they didn't have regulation on flipping lots. Ooh. And I was buying pre-construction lots from like large companies like Toll Brothers and stuff, and I was flipping them to people like a supply and demand thing. I figured out they were lots, and within moments, this was pre 2008 collapse. You know, so people were buying houses and everybody was qualifying. But there was so much demand in Virginia that when you bought a lot, like you put a deposit on a lot for $5,000, you didn't have to come up with the money until like maybe like 30 days before the lots are ready to build. So you have to pick your options. But at that time, there were 50 people in line ready to basically buy that lot for $50K above what you had locked it in for. So I would go there, and when people couldn't even get a lot at $50K, they would say next lots are $100K. So I would go to those people that walked away, and I'd be like, "Do you want to buy better lots, ready to go for $50K?" And I would just transfer my lots. I did this like 72 times before I got caught.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I made some money, and then so while I was in banking, I was hustling on the side, and then I made some money, and then after that, I went over to like when I got fired, I wasn't broke, so I started working on my.
We had a Lamborghini, so.
Well, yeah, and then I started working my car stuff after. Yeah.
And that evolved from you had a car wash business at the same time you were at the telemarketing place.
Yeah, so very early on, I was washing cars because I didn't have like early, I didn't have papers, so we were just fucking washing cars, you know. Like, and then after I got fired and I had nothing to do, I decided to do something. So I went back to like, I'm just gonna detail cars. I have money. I'm gonna get a building, get it more like formalized, and then from there, just decided to kind of start tuning cars, doing more because I had some money, so I wasn't broke anymore. And then I started this idea of like maybe we should start buying some cars and flipping them during 2008, the 2009 drop, you know, 2010. And then that's when I built my other company, VIP Motoring, that became a really large concierge service, did really well, but it wasn't netting me any money. I was netting money, but like it was less than like a 2% margin, which was terrible. Like, so I knew that it was like one mistake away from collapsing. And then I kind of from there just decided to start teaching online. And then that's when I just said, you know what, we had a blog we were kind of writing on leadership, and I said we should start looking at more exciting things. And we started building this thing called secretentrepreneurship.com. Took 4 years to make $40,000.
Yep, that's around where I came in.
Yeah,
That's where I met you.
$40,000 after 4 years of work full time, like 15
What
hour
sparked
days.
What sparked the teaching? Have you always had that?
No, I looked back when I couldn't figure out what to do when I was in the car business and I hated it. Like I didn't know what to do, like meaning like with my life. I looked back and I started reflecting on what made me really good at banking.
Okay.
And I realized that my strategy was always to teach my employees. Like, so teaching was always like the thing that I always had. And I was also headed, like I was doing a lot for HR, for training and stuff during my time in banking. And I just realized I have a niche for teaching. So I said, instead of like, if I have a gift for teaching, then let me figure out a way to reach more people with what I want to teach. So what I want to teach kind of evolved over the years, et cetera. But how I teach, obviously, the more I practice, the better I get. But I had a natural talent for it. So I started simplifying really complex problems that people didn't understand how to deal with. So first I started with things like financial wealth management and understanding money, true wealth assets and things like that, because I had done it. So I was like, I'm going to teach what I've done. And then over time, I started realizing like there was a larger ecosystem to how much I had evolved consciously. So I was like, let me debunk this whole idea of spirituality and conscious awakening into a path to like what creates these triggers. And I also was a disbeliever of psychology in essence, because I've always believed, I'm not a disbeliever of science, but I always believe science is something that's used to basically try to explain. They create a formula to try to explain something that's happening, right? But it's always behind, because it's always like decades behind, basically, like what we don't understand, right? It's like, how can we understand it? Oh, we don't have a notion of another dimension. So like later we do, and it's like, okay, now we have a formula to understanding what goes there. And then now it's scientific, so it's proven. But if a human lives at that rate, then their advancement is very limited, you know? So like I started just debunking like how the human evolves through all of these tools, like philosophy instead of psychology, and understanding a little bit about how we compound knowledge from our past ancestors of what they were trying to teach us, tell us, etc. And so I started creating like a lot of roadmaps to human awareness, self-awareness, consciousness, and then used myself as a guinea pig for 10 years and backtracked, which helped me write my, I think it was like 9th, 10th, and 11th book, which was Third Circle, Radius, and Gated Choice. I never read a book before, so I had to write 9 books that basically like, I don't read books, so it was like nine books that were failed. They weren't failed, they just weren't like proprietary to me, so they were just like stuff I had learned in finance, and I was like, it's not special enough, like no one gives a shit. Like anyone can read this shit anywhere, so I was like, stupid. But it taught me how to write, because I didn't have experience writing books. So I had to go through trial and error to do it.
And where was the connection in finance and consciousness? Because they're things that work well together, but not necessarily always put together.
Because I always say this, consciousness is a single player sport, but the human experience is a shared experience. So what happens is humans go through this very like phased out concept in their life, which is that society is separated from the cosmos. Like, so it's like what you do in society is no correlation what you do, but they look at these two different things. So it's like the Matrix.
Okay.
Think about the Matrix being like a program to give you a fake sense of what reality is, and then there's a reality behind it, right? So what we see is two facades of identity, one in society and one in real life, like one in the self and then one in society. And so one thing that just tends to happen is people tend to think when society doesn't work for them, they can just bypass that and be spiritual in nature and be like, this isn't what life's about. But they still yet exist in society. They'll still go to their house. They'll still have to pay taxes. They'll still have to exist, abide by the laws. So one of my frameworks that's a little bit different is instead of saying like escape the matrix, like run away from it and go and become the best version of you and blah, blah, blah. It's like you can't escape it. You have to conquer it. So no matter how you look at it, you have to go through it. You can't just be like, I'll go around it. Fuck it. I don't like it. It's rejecting me. So understanding basically like society is to life what psychology is to philosophy. So like understanding these concepts and being able to break them down to a simpler model for people, such as like the experience of driving a car, it is an experience in itself. And there's a different purpose behind driving a Kia and driving a Ferrari. And people don't realize that. They think that, oh, well, you're just getting a different mode of transportation. You can't drive past the speed limit. It's like people drive a Kia for transportation. People drive a Ferrari for an experience. So when you're unconscious, you do things because you need to do them. When you're conscious, you do them because you want to do them. So the goal is to make people understand the distinction on a granular level so that they stop alienating the things they're supposed to rise to get. So there's a progression to life, and people try to escape it. A lot of times these scam artists, they're trying to escape the work part. But the work part is what makes you become. So when you get it, you understand how to keep it. You also understand how to like appreciate it and harness it. So just getting a Ferrari without the work to get the Ferrari doesn't give you the appreciation for the Ferrari. Like it's like a rich kid that's born into Ferraris is not going to have an appreciation for what it was like to go from a Kia to a Ferrari. He has other elements to deal with outside of that. But the argument I'm making here is that once you go through the progression, you typically understand the scale of each thing, right? So you understand the perspectives of the people you have to deal with at each level. And when you don't understand that. That's why there's usually very little empathy from people who are born into wealth and things like that. And they come across as, looking down on people and things. But they're not. They just don't have context of understanding what the other side's like.
It kind of plays into, you said something just now, is a title first, money later.
Yeah, meaning you have to earn, like if someone is willing to give you a title, you now have to do the work to earn that title, even though you already be given it. Young people think the opposite way. They think if I have a title, I'm chasing the next title. But when you get a title, you have to work hard to prove that you are that person. Just because someone gave you a title doesn't mean you are. If someone's like, hey, PJ, you're a bank manager, and I'm like, I'm not qualified to be a bank manager. Now I have to spend a year or as long as it takes overworking to ensure I can own that title before I start thinking, well, what's the regional job like? But when a kid gets a job, they already looking at the next job without even being good at their jobs. They usually get fired because they're morons. They don't do their work.
Cool. Fair.
We could go into a whole digression of kids in the workforce, but we'll skip it.
18-year-old kids in the workforce, hot or not?
Oh,
you know
man.
the difference between someone who's been with him for 15 years and someone who hasn't is when he says shit like that, me and Alan just sit and wait patiently for him to be done.
Let him finish laughing.
Just so
If you ignore me, I will not go away. It's coming back with a bigger joke. Jokes have evolved over the years.
So when we met was around this time, and it was when Secret Entourage kind of was forming the Secret Academy. We had this network of guys that we were interviewing, and it was sort of like a podcast before
Podcasts
were
existed.
podcasts. They existed, but
You
they
heard
weren't-
that, guys.
They
We
weren't what they
invented the
are today.
podcast very early.
People don't believe that.
I will
Yeah,
tell
no.
you what you did invent. You invented motivational quotes
On
on top
Instagram.
of cars on Instagram in a volume capacity.
You're welcome.
You were the first one to do that.
Yes,
Inspirational.
exactly.
I mean, it built the foundation of that entire business.
I know, yeah.
So this is around the time that we met. You had moved to Florida from Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
You've said before a million times because you wanted to be around bigger players and more money. And I was surprised because when we met, you drove like an M6, you had a Maserati, you had something else, and you lived in like a townhouse. And I was surprised at that because I knew you were a millionaire, or you had said you were a millionaire. I believed you were a millionaire. And what I think is interesting for this discussion,
I was a
is,
millionaire
like,
since I was 21, 22.
Yeah.
By asset first,
and you were like,
and then by
26
cash
or
probably
27?
26. Yeah, 25, 26.
yeah. So that was around when we met. You were like 27.
I had
So,
$1 million in cash, like to use. Yeah.
So, why did you hold back on like where you lived and what you had when you had more money to like show off a bigger lifestyle? And it would have benefited the business too at the time, thinking back, like if you had a sicker house or you had like, a Mercy or something like wild at that time, like why didn't you do that?
Because the game is not to thrive and die. The game is to survive. There's a lot of people that say, and I think Homozy says this too, he's like, entrepreneurship is the last man standing. So that's what it comes down to. You have to make financial decisions that don't ruin your future decisions. So yes, I can go and buy a much more, like even today, like I live in a $10 million house. I can go and buy, like I want a $22 million house. There's a house that I've been eye-fucking. It's like $22 million. It's like, I do the math like every other day. I go, and the thing I can't get over for that is the taxes on the house. It's not even the fucking house. Like fuck the 10 million extra. Like it doesn't change anything. Because I can sell 2 cars, right, out of my fucking 30 cars and be like, okay, I have my $20 million dream house. The thing is, there's a level to the game. You have to understand that buying things aren't just buying them. It's being able to afford keeping them. And what I mean by that is not like maintenance, like, oh, Lamborghini is maintenance or not. Because I had Lamborghinis since I was a kid. They don't. The larger problem is a house has like taxes, landscaping, like stuff that's like adds up. And you can live 2 ways. You can either live in something in constant fear and worry that you can afford it or not, or that you're going to have to do things. But these are foundational purchases, which means that you don't buy mortgages and you don't have liquidity on houses, and especially not back then. In 3 days, you're like, okay, I can't afford my rent. I'm out. I'm going to go somewhere cheaper. When you own a house, you have a down payment. You have like your credit on the line. You have all these things on the line. And you have to take that shit seriously. So you have to take that shit as a foundational step towards your own growth. And if you take a very large step and fuck it up, you could set yourself back 10 years. So I've always found that you don't spend money on things that you don't intend to keep in a foundational way. Like I knew every house I lived in until about 2 houses ago were houses that like I was not going to keep. I was buying and I would move and I would move and I would move. So I was like, why? First off, why gives myself stress and overspend and buy myself a $6 million house back in 2015 when I knew I wasn't going to stay there anyways? So it was like, how do I make my house a good financial decision? Because at the time I wasn't married, I wasn't trying to have children. So I was like, I'm trying to just like make money and continuously grow these businesses. So it was like, I'm not really interested in like the whole idea of like just putting foundational money, down when I need capital money. So I just didn't invest in those things. Instead, I made everything into a cash money, like opportunity. I was like, oh, if I buy that house, I can live in it 2 years. I can make $200-300 grand. I can move into the next one and so on and so forth. And I kept moving. I just never overextend myself because I feel like that's the game. I mean, in 2018, I became like rich. Then in 2020, I became stupid fucking rich.
Wealthy.
Like stupid fucking rich. Like, then in 23, I hit like net worth over 100 million where I can write a check for 5 million without giving a shit. Like, nothing in my life is going to change. So I look at that and I go, now I can actually, even now, like my house is 10 million. Like, I just saw this other thing on this fucking retarded show, the Iced Coffee Hour, whatever the fuck that is, with that dipshit with a 4GT.
Graham,
yeah, fucking moron. But he asked this fucking real estate guy who's old as fuck, he's like, how much money or net worth do you need to have a $10 million house? And he's like, 40 million. And I'm like, yeah, that fucking math is crazy. Like, if you want to live a life where you only buy a nice house and then you're driving a fucking Toyota and a Lexus and you're like, okay with that, but like to live in a $10 million house and have a shitty ass car doesn't make sense to me. So I'd rather grow slower, but grow evenly. Like, so evenly meaning like your foundational purchases have to match your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And so if you have a nice house and you have shitty cars, and it doesn't, then that means you're betting on the real estate more than you're betting on the cars, right? And you're using the excuse that I don't like the cars. If your cars are so expensive but your house is total shit, it's the opposite. You're betting on the cars, you're not betting. If you're always traveling and if we only have one car but you're on a private jet every other week, that also doesn't add up. So these things just don't add up. Like they have to be foundationally aligned so that you can sustain the growth. And this is what a lot of people miss, because it takes the 10 years first to really invest in yourself and in your business and everything else. Then it takes 10 more years to master what you do. And it's at year 20, once you're consistent in something, that you can go, I trust in my ability that I'll never be poor again now that I know what I know. Mm-hmm. So you're like, knowing what I know, I'm done. Like I can carry this into any industry any way I want. I'll always figure it out,
So for the sake of time, let's now talk about quick kind of the ascendance.
I don't even know what that means. That's a big word.
The rise.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it on the screen too. The definition. Ascendance. Let's talk about the ascendance. What does that mean?
As your ghostwriter, I will tone down your
I promise he didn't write my books, but he edited a lot.
I did edit them.
That's good.
So the first house you were at in Florida, the Boynton house on the end unit.
That was in the end. That was the second house.
Oh, that was the first house I knew you.
Yeah. I was in townhouse before that in Boca. Yeah.
Okay, I remember that. So what's your net worth kind of in the beginning of that house and at the end? You were there for 3 or 4 years?
Maybe the house was like 500 grand at most. And it was, at the time, I don't remember, maybe like 10, 15 mil.
So
like net worth, total.
What are you doing? 'Cause the other thing is no one understands, courses don't get
No,
you
they don't
as
add
rich
up,
as
right?
you
The
want.
math doesn't math.
You can tell them. They don't add up, bro.
As someone with intimate, detailed knowledge of your course business, I know that's not where a lot of the money came from.
Never.
Not
95%.
for a while.
I mean, we made a lot of money in course the last 4 or 5 years, but before that, it
Sure,
wasn't
but
there,
even
yeah.
then, you were.
It's
worth
not enough to
50
live the way I
million.
live.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, obviously, you're doing what you teach. You're trading watches.
Yeah, I'm
you're
always
flipping
practicing
cars.
my own trade. Yeah.
But what else were you doing with that money at the time? Did you take big positions in the stock market? We never even really talked about this.
I always do what I tell others to do. So I never give people advice I don't take myself. So there's guys that give relationship advice about their, they're like,
And they're single.
Yeah, and they're single. They don't know what the fuck to do, or their marriage is shit. But they're like, this is what you should do, sweetie. And it's like, yeah, no. I do the same thing with money. I know money because I use my own money to make money. So I understand how I make money. So cars and watches have been a way that I've made a lot of money. Now, in two realms. One, looking at markets and predicting what cars, based on the psychology of buyers, people are buying in 6 months, in 12 months. That's the same thing I did with houses back. I was predicting where would people go, and I would buy lots there because I was like, they can't buy here, so they go there. So I do the same thing now. It's like, oh, they're going to want 812 competitions they can't have, so they'll go and buy pistas. So that's the next wave. So I go, let's buy pistas now because they're soft. And in 6 months, when those guys go, oh, all these 812s are sold out, then they'll go like, well, the pistas are still a good buy at like 800. They'll suddenly go to like 1,000,001. So I buy 5 pistas, 2 pistas, whatever it is. I put them in a warehouse, I drive one, and then the rest of them just sell out, and I started to make like an extra 3 million on pistas. So that's what I did. Even in COVID, I did the same thing. I went in and everybody was like, oh, no one's going to buy a car in the pandemic. And I was like, no, because Europe was closed months before the U.S. And I was like, well, that means there's no supply coming in. And the U.S. won't be closed like Europe because it's the U.S. So it was like, this doesn't add up. So dealers were like, this is the end. I was like, no, it's the opposite. It's going to skyrocket. You just guys don't see, you're not paying attention to this other thing. Where the shit's coming from. You're not looking at it. There's no ships. And I was like, the backlog of the volume of ships. I was like, this doesn't add up. You can't just take the cars and suddenly be like, oh, we're reopened. The 3 months we were closed, we're just going to quadruple the amount of ships to bring the cars here. And everything, business as usual in 30 days. I was like, every month you're closed is 6 months of backlog. And I was like, every month they were closed. It was literally like a fucking 4-year run for COVID, going crazy from 2020 to 24. It was like insanity. And that's what I looked at, and I took a lot of bets on that. That's why I literally 4 or 5x my net worth during those years, because I just went in on watches, cars, And I did what I was doing, but I just believed in myself enough to say I was waiting for this moment. This is a good opportunity. And you're in something long enough that you see these trends and patterns. Just like guys that are in crypto have probably seen these crashes come and go, and they have more confidence in when to go all in. They look at it and they go, oh, it's 50% off. Wow, that's a great number. I'm just going to jump in. And they don't care that it goes an extra 10% up, down. They just go, I'm in. Like, then they suddenly make like 5x their money because like skyrockets. So the confidence comes from the patterns. And so that's what I did. I invested in cars, watches for a long time. I then had too much capital. I had to park capital. So I created a little mini lending business that lend to car dealers, jewelers, etc. And I made a lot of partnerships with a lot of people in this industry to continuously fund them for these deals and guide their direction of buying deals. So make their businesses more successful, get a cut of it, and continue this kind of evolution, you know? And through that, we've also built other platforms and other things that are tech-driven companies, and it's worked out great.
Yeah. We don't even count that in.
No, I mean that's not even like those aren't part of my net worth either. A lot of people don't realize like that. I'm not when I say my net worth is X, I'm not talking about like, oh, my business is worth X. So therefore, I'm not even using $1 from my business worth. It's like cash only. Yeah.
You said when you have too much capital, like I kind of harped on that. What does that mean? Because
that means you have too much So the problem becomes after 50 million, capital management is a harder part than cash flow. So cash flow is a problem until you're 50 million rich. Then at 50, like when you're at 50 million, you have enough cash flow coming in and you own your assets and stuff. So you don't have this like problem of like, oh shit, I'm negative every month, or I got to figure out a way to make money, because money can make money. There's hundreds of ways where that money can basically fuel you enough. Post that extra money you make, especially if you're smart and you're good and you're in growth mode still, that money needs to be parked somewhere, meaning parking capital becomes a risk. Like, where do you put it so it's not losing? Where do you put it so you don't take a high risk? Which bank goes under? How much can you have there? What are the insurance fees? You know, like all these things. What businesses can you fund? What businesses can you invest in? So can you, there's a cap to how much money you can put in cars and watches. Like, there's a place, I mean, I have to open 5 dealerships if I want to put more than the amount of cars I have. If I want to take another 20 million and buy more cars, well, I have to be like, do I want to be in the dealership space? And the answer is no. Do I want to be in the watch business? Yeah, because it's easy to kind of put the watches there. You don't have to have that much like space, right? Like a car, whatever. But here's the other problem. Then with watches, you need insurance. You need all this thing. You know, you get to a model where it's like the risk is really high because you have to balance all that. So when you get through all that, you really have to figure out the balance, you know, between all these things to understand what is the best model to just park money while you're doing that. Now, I figured this out very young that cars and watches are a great institutional way to park money, get tax advantages, and ultimately still have fun. You know, like obviously cars and watches are fun. I figured out how to build businesses around lifestyle that just made sense because they would allow me to fuel not only my own growth, but would keep me having fun while doing it. But it took 10 years to get the setup structure to be able to do this. But most people want the instant gratification now. So that's what changes after the 50. So anything after 50 just becomes figuring. After 100, it becomes, I'm not there yet, meaning like I'm like right at that tip of 100. You know, I'm not like into like the 150 to 100 million. When I sell 1 or 2 companies, maybe that'll be the case. But at that point, you have to set up a family office and manage your own money as a business. You know, like at that point, like once you're like, I'm out of my business and like I have all this money, then you're like, you can't just keep buying $100 million in cars. You know, like it's just stupid. Like you're just losing money at that point. Because there's ways you can make money and you can assign people to like, let's build a portfolio of companies we invest in, things we do, you know, like money we invest. Whatever we need to do to basically like put the money to use so we can produce X amount of money like a business in itself. So
I want to call you out on some absolute bullshit.
Oh, I know what it is.
Okay, let's hear it. I like it.
Not 4 weeks ago on this podcast, you said you were never buying a Ferrari again.
Yes. Well, actually, last week I said, do I buy the following 3 cars or the following 1 car for my next car? Either I buy an 812 Comp, an SF90XX, and I buy a Pista, Spider or Coupe, like just to have those 3 Ferraris, which are, in my opinion, the hottest looking / best driving Ferraris, modern times. Or do I just buy 1 LaFerrari? I hate Ferraris. I think the brands are shit. I think their brand and their management of it is total shit. I think Porsche makes a great product, and I think their brand is total trash. I think Ferrari makes a trash product and also as a trash brand. That's a pretty big statement, seeing that I'm willing to spend $2 million on a Ferrari. So there are two sides to business that matter. What is the money going to, and what will it make? Do Ferraris have a following? Can you make money? Absolutely. Like it's great. Porsches and Ferraris make more money than any other brand. So there's money there. But here's the other thing. The reason I say Ferrari is trash is not because they don't make one special car every few years that's fucking unbelievable, or one, like work of art, like the Pista was a work of art, the A12 competition was a work of art. I think the SF90XX is fucking beautiful. Like, I think the design is ridiculous. I thought the 355 was a great car. Like, it's a great driving car. But the problem is, you can't count a brand based on 5 out of the 50 cars they put out and be like, the 1% of that or the 10% of that is fabulous, but the 90% is shit. So that's my favorite brand because I like that car. Lamborghini consistently put out power cars that function. They fall in line behind them. They go out of their way for customer service, for inclusion, for helping you. It's just a good brand. Like, and their product, I don't love every Lamborghini product. Like, some of it, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of retarded or it's good, but it's consistent. And the consistency and the care for the product is something you don't get from Ferrari. Now, you get it from Porsche, but then the brand itself is tarnished because the dealerships fuck that up by, oh, you have to sell us your car back, otherwise I'm not giving you an allocation. You're like, well, why? Like, I've had Porsches my whole life. No, you can't, because I want to make $50K on your car. And it's like, yeah, but now you're extorting me. And if the brand's letting you do that,
It's a problem.
it's a problem. And Lamborghini controls their brand better. And so I like that. Now, they're not as popular, so people aren't lining up to buy Revoltos the way they're buying GT3 RSs, but they're going to be. I think it's just early, and I think like still Lamborghini is very early compared to Ferrari or Porsche, like when they've really gotten that footing in what they do. I think Rolls-Royce will also do that soon. They'll get to that place where they separate themselves from Bentley dealerships and everything and really start giving a really pristine like experience. But I think that's what it comes down to. That's why I'm not a Ferrari fan. Like, I will own... There's 4 cars that I think I will own in my life that I will keep. A 355, which I just built, a sick-ass one. That's engine out service now that I should get back in a week. I just love the SF90XX look. Like, it drives like a fucking SF90, but it's just fucking beautiful. A12 Competizione is better than the Pista, so like that's going to be a car that stays. And eventually, when I'm rich enough, meaning where I feel comfortable enough to find a deal strong enough, an SP3. Like, SP3 is a fucking... I love that more than LaFerrari. If you ever see me buy LaFerrari, it's because of a resale. Meaning not to drive. Yeah. But if you see me buy an SP3, I'm going to keep it. Like, meaning I just think that's one of the most iconic looking cars Ferrari's ever put out. And I think it just looks and then drives and amazing. So yeah, that's just a fucking killer car. But I'm not a Ferrari fan, generally speaking. And that's why there's one Ferrari and there's like fucking 7 Lamborghinis in my garage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do say it. Yours, like, if someone wants a Ferrari, I'm not going to tell them not to buy a Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean, tall people fit in Ferraris more than short people. Like they don't fit in Lamborghinis.
Yeah. Do you think that all these companies you're talking about were picked up by bigger companies? Rolls-Royce was picked up by BMW.
Well, I think there's a so when you look at the integration of cars from Rolls-Royce, BMW, Audi, Lamborghini, etc., you start to realize that's where the consistency comes from, because they start incorporating tech that's used across 60,000 cars instead of 200 cars. And that tech's been tested for 60,000 fucking cars, and it works. Like, so the Bluetooth connects correctly. The interface is updated, like shit like that. Like, it just works. It loses a little bit by becoming plastic in nature, like, because it does that. But when they put out a specialty car, right? Like, then that's even more special because it works. Yeah. So it's not a specialty car that doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't work. Versus like you can look at a lot of like product that is better as a result, and we can see this because even we saw this with Aston Martin too. A terrible platform gone into an AMG platform, and now coming back out as its own platform, and now it's like because of that integration, we figured it out. Rolls-Royce did the same thing. They started with BMW. Then now they're all Rolls-Royce again, but they figured out how to integrate this stuff through that larger company dynamic. And I think that's very important. And I think the more these companies integrate, the more they can focus on making quality product and leaving the shit product to like the Volkswagen Group or someone to just figure out how to do like the mass marketable Urus. Like an Urus experience should be nothing like a Revolto experience. And what I'm saying is that's actually why the Urus interface is excellent and the Revolto interface is total shit. Which is okay in a way, but that's why it happens, because you have different people making different things. You have the Audi guys really making the Uruses, and you have Lamborghini trying to figure out how to make their Revoltos. And that's why they don't fucking work, because they make a lot less of them than they make the Uruses, which they've done 50,000 times over the last 10 years,
Well, enjoy your A12.
And with that, we have a couple business things to get to and car things, but let's hit a break real quick.
Cool. If you ever saw a guy like me riding in the back of a Rolls Royce with a fine Fox, you would automatically assume that I must be some kind of watch dealer. It does make sense in the end. That's what watch dealers do. But nonetheless, if you haven't had a chance to yet, make sure you check out grailsy.com, where you can buy and sell really amazing timepieces, a site that I've used for the last few years that I've had a lot of success with acquiring some of my favorite watches to date. So make sure you visit grailsy.com, and hopefully they're watching so they can eventually pay me to do ads like this for them.
That's crazy, man. It's just a wild way to go about things. Now we're back from break.
All right, so look at this. We're done going down memory lane, Mr. Andrew? Or
It's enough for me.
okay, is it enough? Okay.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about all the crazy
trauma?
little car stories?
No.
No?
We're not going to talk about my
All
trauma.
the DMs or anything? No, all the stuff that's happened. Anytime you see me follow a hot chick, just know it's him. I did not do it.
I knew that was coming.
I did not do it, okay?
I knew that was
Andrew
coming.
did it. He was the one that went in, found the hot chick, started DMing her. It had nothing to do with me.
You're
Nothing.
welcome for curating an excellent
Yes,
feed and explore
exactly.
page.
That explore page is nice. All right, so quite a lot to talk about. And look who showed up to work today. Aw.
This is my podcast now.
What?
Yeah.
I think you're sitting in her chair.
Oh.
Yeah, she usually sits over there.
Listen,
so-
honey, I don't want to dance, but I appreciate you stopping by.
Oh, doesn't even want your
Oh, now
money.
she feels offended. Okay, fine. You can come here, sit with me.
That's funny.
We were just talking about all kinds of explore page things.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows I have a thing for furries.
Should we make her an Instagram?
We should.
Just-
Actually, as a matter of fact, she should be launching an OnlyFans soon. Yep.
Yep.
Her and her friends. She has,
Mark,
she has a
do it.
group of very cute little animal friends.
There's a lot of scammers in Miami that do OnlyFans management. I'm
Yeah.
sure we can partner up with somebody.
We should find Jack Doherty and tell him to manage her.
Well, he's in jail right now.
Okay, well, that's not going to work. Okay, well, maybe we'll just,
Yeah, he
you know
got-
what?
he got
This is,
picked up a
this is
position.
a progression of social media director into OnlyFans.
Furry director.
Furry director.
2026 is going to be great.
Oh man, it's gonna be
We're going to
wild.
make a lot of money. Just didn't know this was this way.
That's freaking hilarious.
Anyways,
So moving into the business space, the job market is hell.
why? We don't even know what the job report is because Trump fired the only guy that did it because he gave him something he didn't like. He got rid of the guy.
How's the job report?
It's not looking very good. Fuck you, you're out. Next
Fire
time
that
you
guy.
better say it's fucking amazing because I put it in place. It's like, okay.
Careful, those black Suburbans are gonna pull up to your house. So the job market is hell. Young people are using ChatGPT to write their application. HR is using AI to hire people, and no one's getting hired. So it kind of just makes it an entire shit show.
I don't understand. Why do you use AI to hire people? I don't understand what is AI.
They
gonna
use
tell
AI
you?
to screen the applicants.
screen the
So they'll be
applicants.
like, here's 50 resumes. Pick someone that we should interview to hire.
People are morons.
Yeah, but then people make their resumes with
Also morons.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, also
So then you
morons.
can spot it. Like the 5 that it picked are just the other 5 ChatGPT that it spit out the other day.
But wouldn't that be a human to determine the difference between a real resume or not? Because I've seen one.
If that human feels like doing their job.
Yeah, but
But I
nobody
think
wants to do their job.
Well, the real problem I think is that no one has a network. No one's meeting anybody. So everybody's applying for jobs on Indeed or whatever blind, but they don't make an effort to like find the person on LinkedIn, reach out and have a conversation. They just spam fucking resumes and think that that's going to be enough to get a job, and it's not.
So what's the answer? Just delete ChatGPT from schools and applications?
Well, I
how
mean-
do you do that?
No, the answer is being more strategic about your career and your.
Well, most kids don't want to work. They just want money.
They're going to face that
Well, there's an awakening coming from reality. They just don't get money for sitting your ass at home. But there are hundreds of ways you can make money today at home. Like, I mean, you don't need to go get a job. I just think there's a reality that, like, we're on the last phase of industrialism in America. Like, I think that shit is coming to a hard fucking end. Like, robots replacing line workers, ChatGPT replacing basic tasks of 15 people in an office, and you can have one architect use ChatGPT to basically do 14 people's job and now just be like a one-man show or a two-man show for a large company doing architectural work. Same thing for a line of robots can eventually take over and you don't need 40 Amazon employees to sort packages. Like, so that stuff's coming to a hard fucking end.
I think this has always happened, though. I think it's getting blown out of proportion. Because if you think about, like, there's an anecdote of a team of guys that like dig holes for houses, like foundations, and they're using shovels. And then the excavator comes and they're like, well, how can you do that? You're going to put 15 people out of work. And then the response is, well, why don't you have everybody use spoons and hire 100? Like, this is happening since, using like machinery to till fields instead of humans.
Well, so it's a little bit different. I agree with that.
At a bigger scale.
Well, but look at the largest job in America is driving.
I was gonna say prostitution.
Well, why would that be the largest job in America? Like, they own more whores than their drivers. Like, how do you? Well, I see what you did there. Yeah, see, I get it. Yeah. Okay, but they're not actually practicing the job. They're just naturally like
Just
we're all like
saying.
they're more drivers than there's whores. Because anyways,
Subjectively.
totally off topic. Sorry. As you get rid of drivers, then you have a huge job issue. Like, huge, because driving in one form or another, if you remove the guys that are Uber, Lyft, truck drivers, UPS, Amazon deliveries, all that shit, and that alone will skyrocket unemployment like 20-25%. That alone. Now, you add to that order taking McDonald's. Like, to run a McDonald's used to take like 15 people.
Yeah.
Now it takes 3 people. One to open, a manager to do the money,
One to cook.
and then eventually there's no cash, so you don't even need that. Everything's electronic anyways. So you have an order taker, 2 cooks, now you can run a McDonald's. You couldn't do that 10 years ago. No. So, yeah, eventually, now, once McDonald's, right now it has these big locations where people sit and whatever. Eventually, they become smaller locations, just drive-through. Operate them with 1 or 2 people, like constantly running, especially if most of the cooking's done quickly. Like, it doesn't...
Like the coffee shops.
Yeah, exactly. Like a small Starbucks, that just works and people wait. So I think eventually that takes a big toll. I don't think machinery is the same as like technology, because machinery makes something more efficient so the project can go faster, so you can take on more projects. And there's a constant excessive demand usually for more cars, more houses, more stuff. So people want stuff faster. So inventions that make things go faster are technically good things. But when inventions... So we knew that the job market was going to be forced to evolve since it hadn't evolved. Like, meaning, like, people kept complaining. The minimum wage was never supposed to rise. The moment they started rising the minimum wage, they made themselves obsolete. There's a balance where it's like it costs less to order a computer than a person. But there's going to be a point where we get to where they're just, unless, like, if humans are forced to go into more technical work, like intelligent work, rather than labor work, people are fucking retarded. Like,
yeah.
Like, meaning, like, you don't have a workforce that's getting more intelligent. You have a workforce that's getting dumber. Like, all you have to do is just look at kids can't do math and shit because they rely on calculators. So you don't have people that are, like, capable of even understanding half the shit they're going into. So, like, if you can't even do 4 + 4 × 3, right? Like, and you're going to 4 years in college, I get you can use ChatGPT or Google to know, like, what the capital of a fucking state is. Like, I don't know how that's going to help you, or what the chemical balances of a chemistry chart or whatever. Who gives a fuck? Like, it doesn't do anything. Like, we went through all this shit in school. We didn't learn anything from it. Like, why do I give a shit what H2O is versus, like, I don't fucking care. Like, what is it going to do? Yeah. Why do I need a calculus equation in my head if I'm not going to become a mathematician? Like, I don't need this shit. But they don't even understand the basics of survival. So the larger issue is that we have a workforce who's more interested in content creation and becoming circus monkeys and becoming, like, actors in their own world than they are, like, they think they're in a GTA 6 fucking video game. And they think that they're like, I'm just the main character. That's the problem. Everybody has main character syndrome. and somehow they think they're going to run the world or something, and it's their world, etc. And there's no workers. Like, people don't want jobs. Like, they want money. They don't want jobs. They don't want skills. They want money. They don't want growth. They want money. So this equation leads to industrialism basically dying because no one wants to participate in anybody else's game. So it's like, hey, I'm building a game. You want to play? How much money do I get? Oh, well, you can't start with $1 million. Oh yeah, but you're making 10 million, so I want $1 million. It's like, well, that's not how this shit works. No. But it's like, but that's how I think it should work because my other buddy made $1 million. It's like, you're not your other buddy. Like, I don't know who your buddy is. Like, how do you make $1 million? What does that matter? Like, it's not the same thing. But everybody's like, well, I'm my character. My character's going to be better than this character. It's the same fucking delusion with women thinking they're 10s. So it's all it is.
So I think, though, there's a distinction between jobs and careers.
Yes, significant.
So jobs change, go away. McDonald's teller was never a career for somebody.
But jobs are entry into careers.
Correct.
Because you lack skill.
But who's going, the McDonald's example or the Starbucks example, who's really making a career out of that? They're just trying to make a couple bucks.
That's not true.
2 or 3 people, maybe.
That's not true. You can be a barista and very quickly find your way to management in
Starbucks. You're right.
That's very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, same as banking. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you can be in the sales teller line and then quickly make your way internally into another job.
But I'm saying, how many Starbucks workers go into that with that intent?
Well, but here's the thing. They don't because, again, bad leadership. They should technically be going into that with that intent that if they're spending 40 hours in a workforce, then they should make that 40 hours make more money. But they're more concerned about the money than what they're learning in the job. So that's exactly what I'm saying. They're going in looking for money, not looking for careers. You're validating my point. They're going in thinking, I need money now. This is what I do. What's the next thing I do to make money? They don't think, well, I'm here now. I'm here 40 hours. How do I maximize my time here? How do I go up the ladder and make more money doing this? And maybe through that, I find something I like. Maybe, like, I hated banking until I was in upper level management. Then I really loved it. And I was like, I'm really good at this. And because I had more take on teaching and HR and stuff. And I was like, I like this. But without the path and without the attempt, then we go into a job, we get stuck there, like $12 an hour. Then we wait for minimum wage to hit 16 to go, I got $16 an hour. And at no point do we go like, what is my path to like assistant manager? How can I be a shift supervisor? What are some of the things I can do here? Or to look at it and be like, shift supervisor, all that job and you get an extra $1?
Yeah.
Like, that's not worth it for me. Like, I can do something else. But it's like, but you're still there 40 fucking hours. So the extra $1 is still better than not. Like, you're spending the same time there.
But I think that what I'm getting at is that I don't think that it's over. So the doom and gloom around AI and the efficiency that AI is going to create is that like everybody's fucked, and I disagree with that.
I don't think everybody's fucked. I disagree with that too. I think the gloom that they create. I think cybersecurity is a larger problem with AI than anything else. I think defense is a larger problem with AI than anything else. I think that's what the real race to world domination is. It's not about like, specifically saying like, oh, we're going to lose all these jobs and Terminators are coming and, they're going to blow up the world. I think we're still far from that reality. I'm not saying it's not possible, but just far from it. But I think that there's a larger, there's a larger directional shift about what's coming and no one's preparing for it. And no one's really talking about that. So remember, we talked about this years ago. We said the middle class is getting cut out. It's getting fucked. And the really larger issue that we're not talking about is the lower class and the ladder to the middle class. That ladder is disappearing. So like what we are heading closer to is something closer to what Elysium, remember that movie? Like where basically
with Matt Damon,
yeah, like where you basically have all the rich people live in certain areas, right? All the poor people scrapping for whatever's left, and robots managing the poor people while the rich people still have great experiences. And that ladder to go from one to the next is almost non-existent unless you're either born into wealth or born into that family
or win the lottery.
Yeah, something like to go.
Do you know what precipitated the rise of the middle class in America?
No, I don't.
World War II.
Like, well, we're fucking World War III, so I don't know what's coming now.
You had a whole generation of young men that went to war. They came back.
Oh, yeah, I heard this.
And then they introduced the GI Bill. They all got paid from the government. There was cheap housing, and they were given vouchers basically, and all this development. And boom,
so they could participate in the economy. Yeah.
So
we've taken that away since then. To be
clear. I think that we stimulated it to begin with, and then you slowly saw it fade. So like that generation made the boomers. and then the boomers made, the millennials basically and us, and there was no war basically stopped, and the machine of like feeding that middle class and making it bigger never was really designed to stay. So it was always going to fracture and drift apart. What I'm curious to see what happens now is this divide going to keep happening, or is this going to precipitate some kind of event where the government somehow stimulates a rebirth?
Well, the
of
government's
the middle class?
talking about the universal income, but that to me, no, I don't think that's gonna do anything. But I think that there's larger. I think so. Whenever wars happen, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because whenever there's a lot of violence and destruction, there's usually a lot of peace that comes after, and nothing good has ever been formed out of just straight peace forever. So there's always something catastrophic that happens, then people get together and they go, okay, these are our options. This is what we need to do to make it work. And they start putting their shit aside and they go, okay, we're all going to die. Like if aliens came, this would be a good way to unify the planet, because you would be like, hey, you know what? We're all unified as a race. Like we either all die or we figure this shit out. It's not about political party, what you want the world to look like. Like you're going to be dead. So what the fuck you want to do? You want to exist or not? But I think that there's a larger divide in the fact that the same way that we've abandoned men, right? We've also abandoned men again in the social sphere of work. And the rise in feminism has also taken a lot of good jobs away from men, which should be in leadership positions, running, etc., and have that opportunity. And they're not. And to their own right, women have risen very hard to take these jobs. So I think the more you have these upper management, intelligent, technical jobs being taken by women, you're taking opportunities away in a shrinking demographic market. So you're either forcing a need for people to go towards jobs like military and things like that, because women still historically aren't massive populations in those fields as much as men, but you also create these like voids where you really don't have a path for men to rise again. So you're going to have more men interested in this social media ideology of Grand Theft Auto than you're going to have into actual work to create foundation. And the further they go from creating foundation, the less likable they are to women. Get it? Like they don't have foundation to stand on. They don't own a house. They don't have the ability to provide.
What do you bring to the
They
table?
just want to fuck around, go to clubs, run around, get pussy. They're not interested in like actually building families and everything else. And it's become so hard for them. And I understand this because it's become very hard for them to compete on any level. That it's just almost like you look at, it's like me going in the ring with like a Mike Tyson and looking at him and be like, I am so far from being able to kick his ass on any level. Like that, this is a stupid, I'm just going to get hurt. Like there's no like part of this where I land a good punch and get lucky and he like I'm going to get hurt, right? Like, and I look at that and I go, I'm probably not going to take that fight. It's not worth it for me to compete, right? It's not worth, unless I'm so committed that I'm going to go to gym every day. I'm going to figure out how to get bigger and do steroids, do whatever it takes to like basically fight and win. But we've talked about this on this show too. The hunger is missing in this game now. The hunger is gone for men. Like they're not hungry. They don't want to. The hungry people are very far and few in between now.
I agree with that 100%, and I think that presents an opportunity for the people who are hungry. I think it's almost easier to.
But that's capitalism.
Yeah.
That's capitalism.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because down here, what happens is we get a bunch of scam artists that fill in those voids. But I mean, at the same time, you can't give them.
That's why they become popular, because they sell. There's so many men who are lost, and there's so many men who don't have an outlet, and these guys force that fake outlet, and ultimately they vanish the dream. Because they take your dream and they steal it in the form of your fucking savings account. But
well, this is what like we talked about yesterday with like Andrew Tate and like how clearly they define an enemy. Mm-hmm. And it's all business. It's not just scammers, but like there's an easy enemy to define right now, and
but it's not an enemy. It's just an evolution, and I think that's the problem is because media and people have capitalized on this so much. It makes it so. It just makes it so difficult to make people who are in the middle stand out when the noise on the right or the left is so loud, and a normal voice can't thrive in today's market. So like the guys that are really saying normal, I mean, I'll give you perfect examples. We say really intelligent shit, not on this podcast. Sometimes, not all the time. We say, I mean, who else has a, you know, like, yeah, you don't see this on every podcast, but we say really, really intelligent shit generally. And it doesn't go viral, meaning like it does not. But monkey business goes viral. Circus monkey goes viral. And so it creates this image that the only way you matter is if you do something stupid or something retarded or just have a really loud opinion about something that just isn't the way the world works. So you're programming kids to basically realize that if they have a normal sense of upbringing and they are trying to build foundation, growth, or have traditional values, they are basically lost cases. And the fucking scam artists, the cartoons, they're the only ones that'll get any attention. So that's how they're trying to compete, with fake attention, fake currency, fake like cars, fake this, fake that, to kind of matter in a world that just makes them invisible.
I did have one business thing because it turns into fake.
Okay.
NVIDIA posted $57 billion in profits.
I heard about that. They were buying their own chips from
Circular
their guys.
financing.
Yeah, this happens all the time.
So
in business
they'll pump a company. Hey, we're NVIDIA.
Yeah.
We want to buy you.
But car dealers do the same shit too all the time. They pump their own cars to 3 different banks, and they basically get money, and they use that money to basically
buy the cars back.
Yeah, just fucking stupid.
And
yeah.
then post profits, 57
Yeah, I
million.
mean, it's the sad reality of how corporate America works. If creative, like what do we call creative financing, creating money, creative money
Creative
management?
financing?
Yeah, which means basically like non-ethical. But you know, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. In this country, it doesn't pay to do the right thing.
No.
And I know it's really sad, right? Like think about the statement. It's
Dude,
really fucking sad.
how many tens of millions have we not made?
Yes, probably. I can probably tell you, I would be easily $50 million richer if I had sold out.
Yeah.
If I had sold out to
like that?
Just
if
you,
I had
not
sold,
let alone the rest of us.
yeah,
like-
if I had sold out to bad people that wanted to advertise bad things that I just knew, like betting games, gambling shit, you know, like money financing,
creative
lending,
financing.
whatever. If I would have just said, you know what, you're an advertiser, good luck. Like you can do whatever you want with my audience, my community, my members. I would be like so much richer, but I don't think my communities would have standed the internet for 20 years. You know, like, so that's the argument. Like I was okay not making that much money to create something of value, but a lot of people won't be. And I've seen many cases where it paid off for them not to be. So, you know, they made money. They got away with it in a sense because it wasn't illegal, but they just walked. And I don't think it's cool. What do we have on the car side?
The final Bugatti Bollide. This is the last.
Such a crazy looking car.
But this is the last one. That's what's cool about it. It's the last one. Last one that we're gonna make of the 40. It's the bluest car you could buy. It has every level of blue, every carbon, every single option.
That's nice.
That is a nice.
You know what was
freaking
the
car.
nicest car Bugatti made? Was that
Mistral?
No, it was. Oh, that's fucking sick. But it was that final edition Chiron, the 1-of-1 Profilia or something. It was fucking ridiculous. It was so pretty. And it was really like, it had the little wing. It was a pure sport with a really, really pretty, like, minor ducktail. God, that thing is so fucking pretty.
That is a nice.
That and Mistral, like, look at the interior, though. Just pull up the interior. That thing is so pretty.
That is a nice fucking car.
That's just so simple, classy, elegant, fuck you on every level.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of a miss on these cars though, and the Bolide especially. Like you look at these like crazy like track built cars. Same with even like Koenigsegg's or crazy Paganis.
Koenigseggs are pieces of shit. We stand by that.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll never
they
buy
don't-
one, so don't.
They build these like track like race cars, right? But they don't have a racing class. So it's not like you're comparing it to another race car. And then like, what are you gonna do? Drive that car really fast by yourself
No,
around?
Walgreens.
Like-
Nobody does that. It's
No.
a status symbol thing. It's like I own the most expensive Bugatti in the world. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just zero fucking value in holding that shit. The longer you're in this game, the more you realize no one gives a fuck about using any of these fucking cars. Like,
where do
people
you gonna-
buy them.
Bugatti support is good though if you do drive.
I know,
their
but
cars.
if you do, but I guarantee you, it's like fucking 1 out of like 10 people that buys one is gonna ever see the track
less-
time.
fewer than
yeah,
that.
less like half of a guy. You know.
Yeah, you remember Rob Simiar from Scottsdale? Like he would take his car to thermal in California, and Bugatti would come and they'd mount the tires and they would give him support. So it's cool that they can do it, but no one does.
Yep. All right, what else we got?
Albert Spiess. So this guy has a sick collection. This is just his Lamborghinis. So he has all one-off. So he has the Reventon, the
Those
CR.
are all one-off colors. Yeah.
Yeah, one-off colors, one-off cars. And he let Lamborghini come in here and take a bunch of pictures of all his stuff that we haven't seen. So I wanted you to give us a little judgment on how you feel about all these specs.
No, these are fantastic.
They break them down for us too, so we can talk to each one. So we have
Countach in yellow is fucking iconic. It's beautiful.
Countach
I
in-
wouldn't do it, but it's pretty. You know, Siesta. I hate that fucking.
Really?
Car.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just fucking a Huracan. With a,
isn't it even
it's
a
like
it's
a
a
race.
it's a
race.
Gallardo.
Yeah, I'm saying
inside.
it's a race. Fucking, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's just
So
retarded looking. These things
sick.
were cool. Yeah, they were cool during this time.
Reventon. Then he's got the green Scion.
I'm partial to the Countach. I still think it's the best Lamborghini ever built, but the Scion, whatever, that's ugly as fuck to me. Like I hate the green, I hate the car. Like,
You hate the green, you hate the car.
But the two in the middle there, the the Veneno is fucking crazy. And Roadster, that's like stupid.
That's
fucking money.
nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
That's next level fucking.
what do you think this whole collection's worth?
I don't know. I don't even. These are speculative cars. There's nothing here that has data.
Like a value or anything?
Yeah, I mean,
At an
if
auction,
you-
you need two guys
Yeah,
that want
you
it.
know,
And
then you fucking go to ape shit and the numbers go like fucking biblical. The cars like these sell globally too. It's not even a. You're competing with like billionaires and shit fighting at the.
Yeah, some dude on the phone.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
his
like
yacht,
yeah, exactly from Saudi Arabia. Or
You had the
something.
question: Who bought the? Remember who bought
Yeah.
those Gordon Murray cars? It
Oh,
was,
that's
it was him. Yeah, he bought the 3. He's the one that also sold the one last week to get it sold.
Well, there you go. Who is it?
Albert Spiess,
Yeah, who is he?
just a rich guy from Europe.
Yeah,
Albert
that's bullshit.
Albert Spiess.
Said we're this rich. Nobody knows who you are. Fuck out of here.
Moving on to
Anyways,
the
Mercedes is killing what I called they would kill for a long time. All
EQE
of their electric
is
bullshit.
gone.
Yeah.
EQE gone completely.
You know how I knew that car was gone? It was a shitty product.
It was ugly as fuck,
It not
too.
only was ugly, but a shitty product. It never worked. People always complained. It was ugly as fuck, and it just didn't compete with the non-electric. They fucked that up again with the G-Wagon. When they pulled out the electric, nobody bought it. You know, like, again, they keep pulling that shit out of their asshole. But I want you to bring up a car. I don't know if you saw the new Brabus Cabrio G63. Because this, I think, gives us an idea of what the new G63 convertible is going to look like. Brabus built this fucking thing. It is amazing. Like, it's just so good.
That is a nice car.
Like it's
it's a soft top.
Yeah, and it's so good. But this gives us an idea, I think, of what the Mercedes Cabrio will look like. Because they said they're going to pull out an official G63 Cabrio.
Mm-hmm.
And Brabus, like minus their steering wheel, which is total dog shit, is like really, really good quality shit. And not the fake shit a lot of influencers have.
That's
they
a
have
cool
ton
car.
of
It's
fake
not too
Brabus.
overly aggressive.
Exactly. It's like really, really fucking nice. Like,
The hood maybe.
it's probably like $1 million or $900,000 knowing Brabus, but yeah, it's just, dude, that's what these things cost.
For some asshole to drive on Montauk.
Yeah, I would fucking,
Downtown
I would rock that shit hard. It's
Downtown
fucking
Boca.
amazing.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than a convertible that fits 4 people, like comfortably, not like in the back.
We just had this
yeah,
conversation last
like
night
just
about
like
the Dawn.
Entourage days. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
That-
good.
that
Yeah,
Continental?
It's so good, so good. Anyways, what's the other thing? I know we had a.
There's a Ferrari. You talked about it earlier. There's an SF90.
Yeah, is that the silver one with the
XX
orange
for
thing?
sale.
Yeah, this is the car that was a Carrio. It's ugly.
So it's 1,800 miles, 1,016 horsepower, Chevelle XX spec, and it's
Yeah.
going up for sale. It's Bianco
Super ugly.
Artico,
Yeah.
Arctic
So
White,
this is ugly as shit. Now put up a Azura Plata SF90 XX.
Azura Plata.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a nice color too.
Yeah, that's a great color. That's just the wrong offset. It shouldn't have orange secondaries.
Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, it's fucking
Wannabe
terrible.
golf
Yeah,
livery.
again, like people are colorblind when they build shit. It's fucking retarded.
That's wild.
Let's go to the last thing I want to talk about because we got to get the fuck out of here. I have shit to do. It's like we've almost been on like 2 hours, which nobody gives a fuck enough to watch us 2 hours. How many viewers do we even have? And we still have the bracket challenge too. We have like 8. Do we have 8 viewers?
We had 20.
6?
We had 22 today.
22.
Yeah,
wow.
dude.
22 people.
Huge
Dude,
jump.
I think you told all your family in the Dominican Republic to get on this shit.
I just posted.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So there's this fucking car that Cadillac built that is 10 times hotter than a Corvette
Any Cadillac we've seen.
on
before.
any basis or
Period.
any fucking car I've ever seen an American manufacturer make. And somehow we still got the ugly ass Corvette to get released before this thing. And I just don't understand why. Isn't Cadillac the same company as Chevrolet? Like,
Yeah, General
GM,
Motors.
Right? Yeah. So why the fuck did they make this? Like, why the fuck did they make a Corvette? It's built on the same platform. It looks like it's the same rear engine, mid-engine fucking car. But it actually looks really fucking good. I don't understand, like, why it just does not, like, get made. Why do you think they build a Corvette instead of this masterpiece?
I think it depends on who's very high up at these companies because they are not actually designed by committee. There are people that head very specifically what these cars are going to be. And then it's like with the electric conversation of all these cars finally getting canceled, but they were designed 5 years ago and they get locked.
But do you think that, like, someone looked at this car and someone looked at a Corvette and was like, dude, the Corvette is it? And it's
Yeah,
the-
like GM has like kind of like a special projects division where like people are. It's like Google when they give you like 20% of your time to just do whatever you want. this is the result of that. And someone was like, oh, this is actually hot. We're gonna.
This is amazing. It's one, like I would fucking rock this.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking good-looking car.
Yeah, and it's been about 4 minutes.
I have it here.
Oh,
Just-
it is. Wow,
we've
okay,
tried to
okay.
get it over here, and it won't for whatever reason.
That is probably the prettiest car that has come out from American manufacturer in the last 15 years that I've ever seen. That's amazing. The interior looks sick. The exterior looks sick. The back looks sick.
You like it
So-
better than a Ford GT, a 19?
Yeah, way better. I think this. I would fucking drive this. Like, I would actually like personally drive this, and I would not feel gay driving this. If a Corvette looked like that, like I would be like, yeah. Like
I
they
think the
fucking
biggest
nailed it.
mistake that Chevy made when they made the C8 Corvette is calling it a Corvette.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you think they
Elaborate.
should have?
I think it should have been a whole new thing.
Oh, they think they
A
should
new
have gone
name,
like
a new concept. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, they capitalize on the money of the name,
Corvette
okay?
brand.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
meaning
yeah.
like who? It's like the Mustang just constantly evolves into this weird fucking thing, and it's not. I mean, I just bought a $500,000 Mustang. Like the fuck? Like since when?
When is that thing supposed to get here?
I don't know, maybe between January and February. And the best he could do is this blurry ass
That's what you sent
pixelated
me.
fucking picture.
That's what you
Yeah,
sent me.
this is why I didn't want a big TV.
Bring it down. There you
Anyways,
go.
Yeah. Anyways, so it looks like shit. Hopefully you'll see it on your screen. It looks really
Yeah,
fucking
we'll make it look a lot bigger.
Anyways, so next week we'll see Emil in a furry outfit.
Oh,
Yeah.
what kind of? We'll let
I
them
don't
vote.
know. Do we know of any chocolate furries?
Seems like a brown bear is perfect for you.
There you go. Brown bear.
I'm with it.
Brown bear, yeah. You know, at first I met him, I thought he was black. He was like, I'm not black.
I mean, I am.
Are you?
I mean, when you look,
people black?
when I pass a mirror, I'm like, whoa, shit, a black guy.
What? Anyways, we are leaving. Have a good day. Everyone, this is going nowhere. Thank you. Bye. Ay, 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 ay.